Morning, sixth grade. Happy Monday. Sorry, the visual aid there was loading. So let's get right to it, shall we? Announcements, reminders. So this week, when we're talking about being a future ready Beaver student, we're on to the second E, and it's a good one. Okay, people that are ready to lead in the future and be the kind of students that we hope you can be are empathetic and kind. Empathy is that ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and feel what they may be feeling and then treat them differently because of that. Okay, and kindness is something that everyone deserves. All right, that's something that we're trying to do a little bit better at school. So push pause for a second before you start to say something maybe a little mean. Maybe you're trying to make somebody laugh, and just think, hey, how would I feel? And a lot of times it's not a hypothetical for you guys. I deal with a lot of people who have been mean to someone, and I know that they've had the same thing done back to them. All right, and the sort of meanness and just viciousness that you may see in the world is not going to get you very far. That catches up to people. So I hope that you can learn to be empathetic and kind. On that note, I don't know where it started. I know it's a thing. I know it was probably on TikTok and it was from a song or a video, but if you know what I'm talking about with this I like you cut G thing, hey, and you're playing this game that involves possibly hitting people inside the back of the head, any unwanted touching in our school does not go into some of the goals we just talked about with being empathetic and kind. So we've been getting a little bit of hints of that lately, and I hope that's the end of it. All right. Below there, and I'll have to figure out a way to not have these slides cut off. Respect others and stay informed during election season. So we are to the height of election season in America in terms of the national election, which you may know, you may not. And I know you guys aren't voting as 11-year-olds, but just it's good to prepare. That's one of our most important duties of American citizens. I actually listened to a podcast not that long ago where people were trying to get the voting age from 18 down to 16. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it's never too early to start getting out there, learning the facts, finding what's a trustworthy source and what's not, and hopefully finding multiple trustworthy sources, and knowing that if somebody disagrees with something that you believe in, that's okay. That doesn't mean that they're bad people or evil in some way. Okay. In America, a lot of our countries fed on the ability to disagree civilly and know that we're all on the same team. And I think maybe as adults, we're losing sight of that. So you, the next gen, can hopefully do better with that. So it's never too early to start preparing for those things. Finally, this is what got cut off down there. We've had way too many problems in the sixth grade boys bathroom to the point that we're putting lots of people on our list of can't go to the bathroom during school time. Either myself or a janitor is going to be in there monitoring it, only letting a few people in at a time because, man, there's been some pretty immature stuff. And there's somebody out there who thinks it's funny. When we catch them, they're going to clean all the bathrooms. We might as well just spend extra time on the toilets, all right? Talk about taking pride in our school. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, again, 90% of you guys are doing great. And I actually have a lot of people on sixth grade. When they see something, they come and tell me instantly. So thank you to those folks. The other folks, grow up a little bit. All right. Next, review of pretty much everything we've done. I don't know why I put this big review in here. And I'm going to try to not make so much noise with that clicker. But just reminding you, this year we're talking about habits that are certainly important. They're things you do kind of instinctually over and over again. And their habits are strong and they impact your life, but you can change them for sure. We also learned that paradigms are like pairs of glasses in that they affect how you see and everything that you do. And sometimes they're a little blurry based on maybe some faulty information. And sometimes we need a paradigm shift, hence the gear shift. And you can't really change your behavior before you change your paradigm, your mindset. All right. Then we got into the personal bank account, which was all about putting deposits in and making yourself feel better because positive habits are really hard to have if you have a low personal bank account. So always be aware of taking care of yourself. And then we finally got to habit one last week, which is about being proactive, not reactive, like a shook up can of pop or my 2-year-old. And if you want to know if you're proactive or reactive, watch your language. Reactive people are always saying, well, this guy did that and this happened because of this. Or proactive people are saying, hey, this happened and this is my take on it and how I affected it. You can't really see the circle over here, but that's the circle of control or no control. And people that are proactive focus on the circle of control in the middle, your actions and your reactions to things and your words, and not worry so much about the weather and let other people drive them crazy. So that was our habit one intro. You don't have to find the spot that we did this in your agenda way back when, but we actually took a habits quiz at the start of our pod class. And I sure wish this class included the chance for me to see you guys really face to face, because I feel like I'm struggling to get to know you sixth graders, but I definitely want to. So this was the question on your quiz that dealt with habit one, be proactive. So bad grade, which this may have occurred with somebody a few weeks ago when we had midterms, probably multiple people. A poor grade, your parents find out. I guess a proactive person took the midterm report home. So could you tell the parents that the grade is probably because your teacher hasn't graded everything? I turned this in. Or are you on the B side where you can be honest with parents, all right? And say, I want to do better. I'm going to talk to them, but this is on me. B, proactive. A is reactive. Okay, so if you put B on that, the start of our unit, you're a pretty proactive person. Today, I want to talk about using something called the 4 human tools that help you, because as much as you focus on the middle circle there, things from the outside, and even if you focus on yourself, you're going to have some setbacks and failures. But what about when things creep in? What if you've got a traffic jam here or other people are driving you crazy? What do you do? Okay, what happens when those people outside your circle cause you sadness or pain, or you have a setback? Well, hopefully you use your 4 human tools. In Sean Covey's book about the 7 habits, I think his dad came up with the 4 human tools part, but he contrasts a human part with a dog. All right. And there's a pretty funny story in there, and I'm not sure why these are all going in here so crazy, where these 4 human tools separate us from animals. And that's a cute animal, or old Doug there. But we have 4 things that no animal has, even the most intelligent ones. All right. And if you ever want to read this book, it is in the library, because I'm only giving you the condensed version. So Doug over here, I think the story is like him going for a walk, and they don't have self-awareness. All right. If a dog hears some other dog howl or just hears some noise, and they freak out, okay, they can't stop that. Okay? They really just are instinct. We, on the other hand, so I put at the bottom here what the problem you may be facing as a hypothetical and how we could use one of the human tools. So if you're feeling scared, you have the ability to be self-aware. You can stand apart and say, let me push pause and step back from my emotions and thoughts and see if I'm acting rationally. Okay. So this is supposed to be in my face right here. My big head is in the way, kind of ooh, I don't know how to do that. I could close it. No, I won't do that. A spooky spot in the forest. All right. So Doug can't pause and say, why am I howling? Who cares if that dog's howling down the road? He just, ooh. We, on the other hand, of say, oh my gosh, what was that? Was that a monster, a demon? You might just say, it was just a tree. Okay. I can pause myself and say, maybe I'm afraid because of the scary movie I watched last night. So that's cool, as we can recognize, like, why am I so angry, and pushing pause. So we can have self-awareness if we pause and analyze ourselves a little bit. Animals like Doug don't have that. We also have a conscience, a conscience, which helps me remember how to spell it. We can listen to our inner voice and know right from wrong. All right. Doug, I don't think so. So if Doug faces a problem of being a little hungry on Thanksgiving, or going through a yard and smelling something that he really, really wants to poop on, he can't stop and say, should I poop on this? He can't stop and say, should I eat that Thanksgiving turkey? He doesn't have that Jiminy Cricket sense of right or wrong. Okay. I love dogs, but they just don't have that. All right. And that actually happened at my dad's house years ago. That's not the actual dog. It was a big fat basset. But he took out some holiday. I think it was ham, not turkey. They just don't have that inner voice. We, on the other hand, picture over here, the problem is you see something you want. Ooh, I got to go back a little bit if I can. I don't know how, sorry. But those were cool kicks that you saw in the store, some shoes, a new phone, and you have that second to say, I want that. Okay, the dog instinctually, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to poop on that. Okay. We, on the other hand, can say, I can't. That's not right. Yes, I want those shoes, but I need to pay for them, earn the money, and be patient. All right. Step 3, we actually have imagination. So the dog really has no imagination. It can't think of future possibilities. Okay. I think of a dog. And think of not imagination like you can go to a different world or something, which is good. But all they can do is like, I have a problem, and they can't separate themselves. I got to chase that tail. For us, you can stop for a second and say, well, if I just wait for a little bit, I can imagine these new possibilities. A dog in his backyard chained up can't say, if I'm just loyal and work hard in doggy college, I'll get a better doggy house and doggy job. Okay, we can. So if you're facing a problem being bored, you can imagine yourself doing other things. You can entertain yourself. Maybe don't even have your phone for a second. But the point is, we can step outside our immediate circumstances and say, what if almost? Hey, what if we did this instead? We have imagination and creativity. Animals don't have that. So, pretty good human tool for sure. Number four, this is a biggie. We have willpower and won't power. Okay, the ability to choose. Again, that dog wants to poop, he's going to poop. Okay, that dog wants to fight, the other one's going to fight probably. All right, we have the ability to go through all those steps, use imagination, self-awareness, all those things, and choose, not make an instinctual choice. So that dog may have done something to this dog. What if somebody bumps you in the hallway? You have the willpower to say, I'm not going to punch him, even if that's your first reaction. Just remember, we don't have to instantly go with what comes into our emotional state. And I dealt with some kids last year that so and so was looking at me, or so and so bumped me, and I wondered if they were sure that the person did that on purpose. Okay, so just for a second, we can say, yes, I want that. I want to eat all the ice cream in my house. I want to eat all this stuff, but I can stop and say, you know what, I have willpower. Okay, those are the four human tools, and they're pretty good ones, and they are what separate us as proactive humans and not animals. In Sean's book, he talked about the victimitis virus, and I had a good talk about this with my wife the other day. Certainly, people can be victimized, and there can be bad people, and things happen to people. So reactive people are kind of always the victim. And maybe you know people like this. Well, so and so did this, so and so did that. If you ever get to talk to Mr. Schaefer about like kind of not meeting our behavior expectations, which is how I know most of you sixth graders, I'd like to know you more like in pod as in a class, something like that. But these folks are always quick to blame. So we haven't had our bullying definition pod yet. I know you've learned about it in elementary, but here's my thought on that. Bullying is a bad problem that does occur. I hope it doesn't occur too often, but here's my worry that I think there's one more little picture here, and you probably won't be able to see it. It's just black and white. So people say so and so was bullying me, and I say, okay, tell me what happened. They said, well, first I called them a stupid head and I shoved him, and then they did this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This is kind of an equal thing here. Okay. So a bully makes them the bad guy and you're just an innocent victim. That happens sometimes. It does. And you feel afraid to do anything and you don't know how to respond. That's a bully. Okay. A thing that someone bumped into you because you caught, that's just meanness in a conflict. All right. So if you fill yourself with reactive language that whatever problem comes in, they're doing this, they're doing that, examine yourself a little bit. All right. And see if you share in the responsibility pie. This next part, grab a partner, please. Somebody close by. Honestly, homeroom teachers, I don't know how long we are on this video, but you may want them to move to someone closer that they trust, I guess. They can talk about some of these things a little bit. It's not going to take too long, just a few minutes here at the end of the pod. So I just wonder, we're going to try to adapt and use our four human tools a little bit and just think about dealing with adversity when it comes to proactivity. So think about what the biggest problem you faced so far this school year. If you have a partner, and again, maybe your homeroom teacher paused this, you could tell them what it is if you want, or at least say on this scale, where do you think it is? All right. If 10 is really tragedy and trauma and things that are probably hard to talk about, like a death in the family, things like that. Well, one poor grade or so and so not talking to you or having a bad hair day is probably down here. Okay, so if you feel comfortable, tell your partner what the problem was and how big of a deal it was, and then let them do the same. Homeroom teachers, you may want to pause for a bit, give them time to do the instructions. Maybe I'll fake pause myself. Just kidding, I'm back. Okay. Next one with your partner, possibly if it goes forward. Hey, it did. Oh, there's a picture of paradigms. Oh, I think I went too far. Let's go back. Yeah, this one's life. Okay, this may be even harder because this problem's probably a little bigger. And you know what? Some people haven't had the biggest problem ever yet. Sometimes you might have a good life. Okay, so what has it been? Again, loss, divorce, things like that are over here. Maybe didn't make the team somewhere in here, and you had a bad hair day over here. So if you feel comfortable, you can tell your partner the biggest problem you faced in your life. But if you don't, you can just say, you know what, it's been pretty good on the grand scale of things, the things that people face in humanity. I haven't had anything close to a 10. All right, one more pause. Pause. And we're back. So I want you to look at that with a new proactive paradigm. Hey, double P, alliteration. Proactive paradigm. All right. Not reacting, but just thinking about your own role in these things. Before the problem started, would you have done anything differently? All right. So say you had a middle of the road problem, like didn't make the team when you tried out. I don't know if that's happened for sixth grade yet, but it could next year. Maybe something different you could have done is practice more. Okay. Thinking about, hey, I wanna try out for volleyball. Better work on some serves. Okay. If you're gonna do some soccer, work on some dribbling. So whatever the problem is, could you have done something differently? All right. And maybe that would have changed things, maybe not. Next one, what could you have done afterwards? Sometimes setbacks happen and we can't do anything about it, but your reaction can help you learn from it, help things go a little bit more smoothly, or make things worse. So, with your proactive paradigm, could that problem been improved by something you could have done before or during or after? So, I don't know if you need to tell a partner, maybe just think about it. All right. So, think about this. That guy's thinking, I'm thinking. When you told people about the problems you faced either this year or in your life, how much did you talk about other people? Oh, this friend did this person betrayed me, I didn't make the team, I got poor grades because the teachers don't like me. If that's all it was, somebody else's fault, you're going outside that circle of control and being not a proactive person, but a reactive. Certainly, people could have done something to you. That happens, but I just wonder. And for people who really do have a 10, the traumas and the losses that I think that's okay. Sometimes you have no control. The circle evaporates. Tragic losses, divorces is never a kid's fault. If that's the case, don't blame yourself and open up and let people help you because I never want to mitigate your problem. But I do think occasionally humanity has a way of just saying, oh, this problem that was a 4, if you think of other people, it really wasn't that big a deal. All right. So that's my spiel on using the 4 human tools and being proactive and not reactive in the face of setbacks. And this is a pretty good quote that you may have seen on some signs or something. As you try to be proactive and focus on the circle and you do go through things, grow through what you go through because setbacks are going to happen. And if you don't learn anything from them, you're just going to be back at square one. So flex those human muscles when you can. You're not an animal. Okay, you have 4 human tools, and when you do face setbacks, learn something from them. All right. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you guys soon. Happy Monday. And I don't always know how to turn this thing off. 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 This part's probably funny at the end. Oh, eraser, pen, mouse pointer, off. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. To try to cut this part. Oh no. Where? Oh, is it done? Now